The short answer to your question is Coach John Van Fleet, when it's said and done. He was my high school football coach and track coach and taught my science classes, several of my science classes in high school. And as I was moving through college, and you get to that point where you start really thinking, okay, I'm moving close to the end of college, what am I really going to be doing here? I couldn't shake his influence. I couldn't shake how much time I spent around him, how much I enjoyed that, and looking back, knowing how he helped shape me to where I was at. And so I kept thinking more and more, and I'm like, I'm barking up the wrong tree here. Not that I don't love human anatomy and physiology and that kind of stuff, but it wasn't going to be a passion. It was going to be something I really enjoyed. And so I spun a different direction into coaching and teaching, and I got to get to teach about the stuff I really, really liked as a biology teacher, but I also got to do a passion, which is be in education and work with kids. So that's kind of that's how I got started, and it goes back to him. People ask me that question, I say, well, John Van Fleet was my high school football coach, my high school track coach, and taught my science classes. And I was a high school science teacher and a high school football coach and a high school track coach, and now I'm an AD, and he actually finished his career as a very successful AD in the state of Illinois as well. So when you look at his path and look at mine, I think it's pretty clear the influence he had on me, which is what drives me a bit in what I do. I know the impact. Next to my parents, he is the next strongest influence in my life, and so I try to approach as best I can every day, even the tough days of I'm where I'm at because of the educators in my life, and so we need to be that for the next generation. So it kind of tries to drive, that's what drives me, I think, a lot.
I had a great high school experience as a high school football player, and I had a coach that was, I grew up without a father, and so he was like my father, and the impact that he had on me and the impact he had on my life, I wanted to do the same things that he did. And so when I got to college, like a lot of young college guys, I was undecided with what I wanted to do, and that it just hit me that I needed to coach, I needed to teach, and I needed to coach so I could hopefully have an impact on a life like my coach had on mine.
To begin with, and it's kind of the unwritten rule for coaches that if parents hang around a lot, put them to work, and I hung around too much. And actually, it was one of my good friends from junior high school that was the head boys coach. And he said, well, why don't you come down and help the distance swimmers with the boys? And so that's how I got started. I enjoy the competition. I enjoy the dynamics of making a lineup, and you can shift around and trying to accomplish, trying to beat this team or that. But ultimately, every year, now that I ask myself that question at the end of the year, and I ask all of our staff the same reason, and the answer still seems to be the same now, that I feel that I can help, especially our high school age girls, but the other girls, really help develop their confidence and positive self-image. And I really find that as a motivating factor for me to continue to coach.
For me, it was about, I wanted to be an educator. I first started off as a pre-med major, did all that kind of stuff, went through it all, managed to realize I didn't want to do that and be in school. But I really wanted to affect kids. I really wanted to affect something. For me, this was the avenue to do it. I started coaching club and working with the youth, and realized that the role we're in has a huge impact. There's people that take it seriously, and there's people that don't take it seriously, and I wanted to be one of those that took it seriously.
When I was in high school, I did rec department, umping, and coaching Little League baseball, that kind of stuff, and just loved it and loved working with kids, and did sports my whole life. So I guess when I started thinking about a career choice, if I could play sports or be around sports and work with kids, I thought that would be a lot of fun.
I started coaching when I was in college. In my off season, I played both basketball and volleyball, and so when it was basketball season, I was coaching volleyball, and when it was volleyball season, I was coaching basketball, and it's just something that kind of stuck with me, and I didn't have a plan, coming through high school, oh, I can't wait to be a high school coach. It wasn't really always the plan. It just kind of fell into it, and I first started off at another school in town as a sophomore coach, and I just loved the connections that you build with athletes, and I knew that at the varsity level you would have a longer stretch with particular athletes, and I knew that I wanted to be a varsity coach for that reason, just because of the opportunity to have athletes in your own individual program a little bit longer.